approval of the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem,
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Councilmember Boyd,
Second.
all in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Motion carries. Our citizen comments. Residents have 4 minutes to speak. Council member, if you would like to address a question from a resident, you have 1 minute. If not, if there is a question, it will be answered during the staff presentation. Let the record show that Councilmember Adams and Councilmember Alvarez are present. Joanne Purser. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be on this side of the dais. May I begin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm here not only as a private citizen, but I'm also a resident of Killeen, and I'm a taxpayer within our city limits. I want to acknowledge the mayor and all of the members of the city council and our city manager for taking time out of your busy lives to support the city of Killeen and Fort Hood in going to the Association of the United States Army Convention recently. I appreciate the show of unity you demonstrated for the betterment of our community and neighboring Fort Hood. There are many things that need to be done when elected officials are traveling to DC, and sometimes it is best to divide and conquer to reach those goals. Sometimes members find their strength in one scenario, and others, they would rather use their expertise and their talent other ways. Regardless, it is evident that everyone tried to participate. Meeting with elected legislators, chiefs of staff, and office personnel to educate them on the pressing matters of the growth and services needed for our residents is a vital act that needs to be done routinely to keep our voice heard when federal funds are allocated, whether it be for education, the Department of Defense, grant programs, etc. If you've noticed when you were at AUSA, there were lots of local business owners and local community supporters that went. And they have gone for many, many years, some of them decades. They are truly committed to our community and may not be in the elected capacity, but may have served in other ways in our community. And they too have a wonderful opinion about our AUSA program, our chapter, our community, and Fort Hood. And all of them want to make sure that everybody that lives in this general area has everything that they need. And sometimes it's that one contact, that one visit that you make that truly makes the difference, especially when those generals come back to this area and actually meet us live here in this area. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you personally for your hard work and sacrifice. Taking time away from your family, your work, and other pressing matters shows your dedication and foresight that a true leader demonstrates and is willing to do. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Fernina.
Good evening, sir.
With regard to discussion item DS22-123, discuss commercial and financial information with a potential business prospect and deliberate the offer of economic development incentives. This is another thing that I've been hammering on you folks for quite some time. It would be nice if we could actually see some concrete and tangible economic development in this town. Depressed areas such as District 1, pardon me, not only need a grocery store, but it would be nice if the folks in that area could actually have some paying jobs and be able to apply themselves to have money to afford groceries. Whereas there are plenty of grocery stores in this town, however, I understand convenience is key. This has just got to stop. I mean, I cited an article in an email to you all, which most of you barely read or responded with rather vapid and vacuous replies of, okay, got it, okay, nice. It would be nice that if you actually took that to heart for a change. We need economic development. We don't need unicorn milk and rainbow dust. We need actual results. For the last 10 years, I've watched the area in question around the old HEB and the surrounding area here, the building that we sit in right now, rot on the vine with absolutely no thought of other than let's throw another coat of paint on it or we'll clean up the sidewalks. That's not economic development. Give people an incentive to be here and then we can justify all the real estate with the roofs that we've actually built. You don't do it backwards. Houses get built when there's a demand for it. You don't build houses largely and then you expect businesses to show up and say, oh, we have residents. That's not the way you do business. So whatever you folks do behind the scenes there, this closed discussion that you'll have with it, I would surely hope that it's not going to be another corner gas station or a coffee shop. How about we do something tangible that's not going to give just above minimum wage and actually give people a living wage or an opportunity to grow and expand from. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, consent agenda.
MN 22-127, consider minutes of regular city council meeting of September 27th, 2022. RS 22-149, consider a memorandum resolution awarding bid number 23-03 tire services to Culver Tire Service in the amount of $316,000 in FY 2023. RS 22-150, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing the procurement of fleet parts through Advance, Chastain, Lone Star Freightliner, Napa, and O'Reilly in an amount not to exceed $413,000, and tires through Southern Tire Mart in an amount not to exceed $200,000. RS 22-151, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing the amendment of a 10-year purchase agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for the procurement of tasers and related equipment by increasing the agreement in the amount of $585,224.64, divided among the remaining 9 years of the agreement. RS 22-152, consider a memorandum resolution finding that Encore's electric application to change rates within the city should be denied and that reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by Encore Electric.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Councilmember Boyd.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Council, you have 3 times to speak for 3 minutes. Resolutions. Madam Secretary.
RS 22-148, consider a memorandum resolution approving a contract with Southern Bleacher Company, Inc. for rodeo bleacher replacement in the amount of $118,300.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem? I thought you clicked. Mrs. Hinkle? Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, and I apologize for the voice, I'm so sorry. So, if you'll remember back with me, we had taken this item back before you, I believe in the springtime. But unfortunately, the criminal justice system is not able to honor that. They can't get the bleacher parts for us. So we needed to go with another vendor, and it's gonna be recommending Southern Bleacher Company in the amount of $118,300. And I'll be glad to go through the presentation if you want me to.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, I do recall this, Ms. Hinkle, and, unfortunately, it didn't work out with the, first alternative, so the second one seems like it's a valid, bid for me, so with that, I move to approve.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I second
Any discussion? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Councilman Adams abstained. Thank you, Mrs. Hinkle. Public hearing. Madam Secretary.
PH-22-075. Hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Chapter 31 of the Killeen Code Ordinances, amending the requirement for a planned unit development for requests for R3F multifamily residential district and R3A multifamily apartment residential district. The caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance amending Chapter 31 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Killeen, amending the requirement for a planned unit development for requests for R3F and R3A, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for a severability clause, providing for a savings clause, providing for publication and an effective date."
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Revere.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item was presented on the last workshop. If there are any questions or you'd like me to go over the presentation, I can.
Council, would you like for him to present? No, sir. Therefore, can I get a motion? Oh, public hearing, sorry about that. I'm moving forward. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Mayor Pro Tem.
Move to approve.
Councilmember Board.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Whenever you're ready, Madam Secretary.
PH-22-076. Hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Chapter 31 of the Killeen Code of Ordinances by amending the standards for fencing materials and adding landscaping standards for non-residential, multi-apartment complex development, and commercial use lots and parcels. And the caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance amending Chapter 31 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Killeen, providing for amendments to standards for fencing materials and adding landscaping standards for non-residential, multiple apartment complex development, and commercial lots, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for a severability clause, providing for a savings clause, providing for publication and an effective date."
Thank you. Mr. Revere.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor and Council. This was presented as well. If there are questions or if you'd like to hear the presentation again, we can accommodate.
Council, do you have any questions? Public hearing open. Public hearing closed. Council, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem.
Move to approve.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Second that.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
PH 22-077. Hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance requested by Edward McIntyre on behalf of Gurunath Vadmadula, case number Z22-42, to rezone approximately 231 acres out of the North Side Addition, Block 3, Lots 3 and 4, from B5 Business District to R3F Multifamily Residential District. The property is locally addressed as 1707 North 8th Street, Killeen, Texas. And the caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Killeen by changing the zoning of approximately .231 acres from the Northside Addition, Block 3, Lots 3 and 4, from B5 Business District to R3F Multifamily Residential District, providing for a savings clause, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for an effective date."
Thank you. Mr. Rivera.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this was presented as well.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I move to approve the,
Oh, sorry, I keep on going back, I'm sorry. Public hearing open. Public hearing closed. I apologize, Council, I don't have any paperwork, so I'm just moving forward. Now, Councilwoman Gonzalez.
thank you. I move to approve the applicant's request for the R3F multifamily residential district.
Councilmember Boyd.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 6-0. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
PH 22-078. Hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance requested by Lawrence Bassarello on behalf of Brown Family Revocable Trust, case Z22-43, to rezone approximately 0.430 acres out of the Killeen Original, Block 55, Lot Part of 2, from B5 Business District and R3 Multifamily Residential District to R3A Multifamily Apartment Residential District. The property is locally addressed as 515 North 2nd Street, Killeen, Texas. The caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Killeen by changing the zoning of approximately .430 acres from the Killeen Original, Block 55, Lot Part of 2, from B5 Business District and R3 Multifamily Residential District to R3A Multifamily Apartment Residential District, providing a savings clause, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for an effective date."
Thank you. Mr. Rivera. No, sir. Public hearing open. Mr. Passarello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
You have 4 minutes.
So basically, what I said last week, I'm requesting to rezone 515 North 2nd Street to R3A. I intended to purchase these abandoned buildings from the Brown family under the condition the city will allow me to rezone and rent these places as what they were built for, which is residential use. The property has 3 structures on it, 1 single family house and 2 duplexes. These duplexes are built as regular 1-bedroom apartments with kitchens, living room, bedrooms, and bathrooms. The 3-bedroom house was originally built as a regular house with a living room, kitchen, and bedrooms. I see this as a great opportunity to fix buildings up and rent them out to people in need of affordable housing in the downtown area. The downtown area is filled with many abandoned buildings, and I believe one main issue that there's so many vacant buildings downtown is because the city has a lot of residential built buildings zoned as commercial, and people like me kind of turn away from that because we can't do anything with a house, a 3-bedroom house, if it's commercial. So that's exactly what these buildings are built. They were all built as normal houses, and I can't really buy them unless I could rent them out the way they were built. So I intend to rezone this property. I intend to purchase it a week later, which is next week, fix it up, and then rent it to people for a very affordable price. Thank you.
Public hearing closed. Council, what is your pleasure? Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Council, I move to approve case C 22-23 to R3A for multifamily apartment residential district.
Councilmember Alvarez.
I'll second that, but I'd like to have a discussion on it.
Discussion.
My question is more for the applicant. I don't know if we could have him come back up. How are you, sir? Good. Thank you for doing this project in downtown in North Killeen. That's something that's very important to us as a city as a whole, and to me personally. I wanted you to see if you could just kind of briefly go over your scope of work for this project. My only concern is I don't want to have these units remain the same way that they are as rental units. I don't think we'd be doing the renters any justice. So I would assume if somebody's going in here to rehab these older units, like you stated, we're talking about like energy efficient dual pane windows, some new insulation, roofing, whatever these need to actually fix them up and make them nicer units. Although they're going to be affordable, they can still be nice at the same time. So I was wondering if you could share that with us.
Yeah. So basically, it's not the first time I've done something like this. But yeah, I have to meet Texas property code, so everything has to be, energy efficient, and if the roofs need to be replaced, they got to be replaced, and outside rotted siding needs to look appealing and everything like that. So, usually my tenants, they like the properties they live in, and we're gonna redo the flooring, and everything cosmetically is gonna look good as well. Like flooring, and the kitchens are going to be remodeled, the bathrooms are going to have nice tile on the tubs instead of those old tub surrounds and everything like that. So yeah, and it's going to be inspected by city inspectors as well, so it's not like I'm trying to hide anything. So but yeah, they're going to be beautiful units, and they're going to be pretty affordable too. I still believe I'm one of the cheapest landlords in Killeen. I think I'm going to rent these out for anywhere between $450 to $550 a month. So, they're going to look appealing and be affordable as well. And I work with a lot of programs. Sorry to get off topic, but I work with programs like Families in Crisis. So, just this week we housed 3 homeless people. So it's probably going to go to people that are in downtown Killeen that need the affordability too.
Thank you for sharing that.
My apologies, man. He answered my question already regarding the low income and what programs would be involved in.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since it was brought up, I just want to know, and you're under no obligation to answer, but you said that you've done this before. How many units do you currently have in the Killeen area?
350.
350
Yeah.
units?
I don't know the property count, but I know exactly how many tenants I have. I have 350 tenants.
350 tenants, are all of them affordable housing?
Not all of them. I have like property off of Clear Creek and Tremere.
Okay, so
but
throughout
most
the
of
city.
it, I would say 95% of it's in the downtown area, 10th Street, 2nd Street, Gray Street, that type of area.
Do you ever do anything, and again, if you don't feel comfortable answering these questions, this is not a trial or anything. I'm just trying to find out to what level of effort do you go to try to make these? I heard you refer to the Texas State Commission as far as you know, and then, city
Yeah.
inspectors.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you do maybe above and beyond? Cause I've met with some who have affordable housing that do extras, you know, living spaces and things, or green spaces and things like that. Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, for example, I mean, off of Gray Street, we had like a swimming pool that was just this big swimming pool.
Sure.
And what we did was, it was very expensive. It was like $6,000 of dirt we had to get in, and then I had to get my guys on tractors, and we had to fill this massive pool up with dirt, and then we planted grass. And we're building a lot of the tenants there, they like to grill, and a lot of them have like grills on their back porches and stuff, which is kind of unsafe being so close to the building.
Yeah.
So we're building like a canopy out there for them with seating and grill area, so because they all like to hang out outside their rooms and put chairs and
Sure,
stuff.
sure.
And it's not really that appealing, so I built something like that for them, if that's
Okay.
kind of the question you're asking, you know.
Oh, yeah, just things that you do above what you're required to do
Yeah.
to put somebody in the home.
And like, for example, on this property we're rezoning, the tenants don't have individual backyards. And what I'm gonna do is basically fence them individually, because they're duplexes and a house, and they all kind of share the same lot and backyard. So we're gonna fence in private backyards for them, because, you know, even though sometimes the lease says no pets, they just always bring in, you know, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, 5 cats, whatever. So they need their own backyard for their pets.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, please, first of all, thank you for doing these types of things in our city, but also, when you get this project finished, I've already seen the project, or where you're requesting it right now. I would love to come out, so please.
Yeah.
If
This is why we need a downtown committee. I know some of you don't want it, but
Say again?
this is why I want to make a downtown committee, so we can have meetings like this.
Okay, yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, when you get done with this, please, please invite me out.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
love to see it. Thank you.
We'll email you. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. A motion was made by Councilwoman Gonzalez, second by Councilmember Alvarez. Council, what is your pleasure? Motion carries 6-0. Discussion items. Madam Secretary.
DS 22-122, discuss Texas Municipal League Annual Conference and Association of the U.S. Army Annual Meeting Events.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gonzalez, you brought this to the council to discuss. We'll start with District 1 and work our way through 2, 3, and 4. If you would like to say something, and then we will do it at large. Councilwoman Gonzalez, you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I'll keep it very brief. I just wanted to share, and we'll go into detail on our 27th meeting. But the Texas Municipal League was extremely informative. I really do appreciate that opportunity to be able to connect with other leaders from all across the state of Texas. I found that the training and the insight that they have it's proven to be invaluable. To be able to pull best practices. We can't always travel all around all these different cities, but to be able to be in the room with these folks when they're talking about some of their best practices and how we could possibly implement some of those good things here, it's very beneficial. The TML overall, represents the interest of our member cities, and so when it comes to the legislative and judicial aspects, as we're really working this time around, this council has been focused on creating actual initiatives for our Schluter group to lobby for us, for our city, and so this organization is essential to that process. So when we're learning about the infrastructure bill and the updates that are happening, also the economic outlook for the state of Texas, getting briefed on that and really kind of diving in a little bit deeper as it relates to municipal level is crucial. So very thankful for TML. Regarding the AUSA, for me, I was really excited. All the time we hear people support our troops, we support our troops, but what are we really doing to actually show that we support our troops? with the city of Killeen moving in a different direction and taking these steps to not only improve our vision of our city and the direction that we're going, but rebuilding relationships that are lasting and also meaningful. This was essential. There's been a lot of negative press on both sides of the house, which we're all well aware of. So for the first time to see the entire council supporting our veterans and their leadership, and then having the leadership of the city next to them, supporting them, we're not only talking the talk, we're actually walking the walk. So for me personally, I just wanted to say thank you for that opportunity. I found it to be extremely beneficial, and the information that we took back from the community meetings that they had, I'm definitely going to be able to utilize that in District 1 to help improve some areas regarding the downtown and the District 1 area. I got a lot of feedback from some of the leadership and what they'd like to see in some of the feedback. There was a seminar regarding the spouses and surveys that they take to find out their quality of life and what their the soldiers and their spouses that live off post also are looking for. So it was truly beneficial in that respect. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Adams, would you like to speak?
No, I don't want to repeat everything, but I agree with what Councilmember Gonzalez has said. During the Texas Municipal, we had an opportunity to attend some of the seminars, and I realized that we're ahead of a lot of our partner cities in some things, and we could have given some of those seminars, but I did realize an opportunity to talk to cities the same size to see what growing pains that they went through while we do the things that they have already done. Then I had a couple of opportunities and even got solicitations for contracts that I passed on to the appropriate people to deal with. And then as far as AUSA, I attended some of the same meetings that Councilmember Gonzalez attended. I had a chance to talk about homelessness with some of the Department of Defense leadership that deal with readiness and personnel, and of course the spouses seminar, and then hopefully take advantage of some of my former peers that are in key leadership positions now in the department to benefit the city. So.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cobb is not here. Councilmember Boyd, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll keep this brief. I don't also want to repeat the same. A lot of what was already said. TML is always a benefit. The annual training, there's different workshops that they put on, and you get to speak with different council members and mayors and city managers to learn some of their challenges and how they're meeting their challenges and talk about some of the challenges in your own community, which was great. For the session, I focused on the future of water, Texas recreation and parks, economic development, and time management. That was my experience at TML. AUSA, outstanding opportunity for education, understand some of the issues the military is working through, some of their solutions, get to talk to leadership about some of the challenges we have, as well as a lot of networking, which is very important. What was mentioned earlier by the person that spoke, sometimes it does make that conversation with that one individual that makes all the difference. That is a very real thing, a very real thing. I appreciate her bringing that out. But I also want to mention and just highlight real quickly the mayor. I want folks to know our mayor was out there speaking with those people, discussing some of our challenges. Secretary of the Army, she was talking to her. 3 Corps Commanding General talking to him. Different levels of leadership within the military. She was having those conversations on behalf of the city, and I just want to say thank you for doing that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir, for that compliment. Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I think that there was